"I'm getting married in 3 months and I'm freaking out," said Akua, a stressed-out bride-to-be as she sat in the office of the renowned venue, the Grand Ballroom in downtown Los Angeles. Her wedding planner, Rachel, stood beside her, trying to reassure her that everything would be perfect for the big day. But little did Akua know Rachel had other plans. As Akua began to discuss the finer details of the wedding, Rachel's expression turned from enthusiastic to uneasy. "Akua, I need to talk to you about something," Rachel said, her voice barely above a whisper. "I've been getting some vibes from the staff here at the Grand Ballroom. They're not too thrilled about hosting a black wedding." Akua's eyes widened in shock. "What do you mean? We've already signed the contract and paid the deposit. They can't just cancel on us now." Rachel hesitated before speaking. "I know, but I've heard rumors that the owner, Mr. Thompson, isn't too fond of African culture. And some of the staff have been making comments about the wedding being different." Akua's face fell. She had been so excited to get married at the Grand Ballroom, with its elegant chandeliers and spacious dance floor. She had envisioned her friends and family dancing to traditional African music, surrounded by vibrant decorations and rich cultural heritage. But now it seemed like that dream was slipping away. Rachel continued to explain that she had tried to reassure the staff that Akua's wedding would be just like any other wedding, but they seemed unconvinced. "I've even offered to tone down the African elements," Rachel said, "but they still seem hesitant. I'm worried that they might try to cancel the wedding at the last minute." Akua felt a knot in her stomach. She couldn't believe that in this day and age, people would still be so close-minded. She thought about all the times she had faced racism and prejudice, and how she had always tried to rise above it. But this was different. This was her wedding day. Just then the door burst open and Mr. Thompson, the owner of the Grand Ballroom, walked in. He was a tall, imposing figure with a stern expression. "Rachel, I need to talk to you about the upcoming wedding," he said, his voice firm. Rachel nodded nervously. "Yes, Mr. Thompson. Akua and I were just discussing the details." Mr. Thompson glanced at Akua before turning back to Rachel. "I've been thinking and I've decided that we can't accommodate this wedding." Akua's heart sank. She felt like she had been punched in the gut. "What do you mean?" she asked, trying to keep her voice steady. Mr. Thompson sighed. "Look, I know you've already signed the contract, but I just don't think our venue is the right fit for this type of wedding." Akua's eyes flashed with anger. "This type of wedding?" she repeated. "You mean a black wedding? A wedding that celebrates African culture and heritage?" Mr. Thompson shifted uncomfortably. "Well, yes. I just think it's not what we're used to here." Akua stood up, her voice rising. "Not what you're used to. You're a wedding venue. You're supposed to accommodate all types of weddings, not just the ones that are convenient for you." Mr. Thompson raised an eyebrow. "I'm afraid it's not that simple. We've had complaints from other clients about the noise level and the unusual customs." Akua's face burned with indignation. "Unusual customs? You're talking about the traditional African drumming and dancing? The cultural attire?" Mr. Thompson nodded. "Yes, those things. We just can't guarantee that our other clients won't be disturbed." Akua was furious. She couldn't believe that Mr. Thompson was trying to cancel her wedding because of racist attitudes. She thought about all the times she had faced similar situations, and how she had always tried to educate people about the beauty of African culture. But this time she was not going to back down. "I'm not going anywhere," she said, her voice firm. "I've paid for this venue and I'm going to have my wedding here." Mr. Thompson scowled. "Fine, but I'm afraid we'll have to discuss this further. Rachel, can you step outside with me for a minute?" Rachel nodded and followed Mr. Thompson out of the office, leaving Akua alone. Akua's mind was racing. She couldn't believe that this was happening. She thought about her fiancé, Kofi, and how he would react when he found out. She thought about her friends and family, and how they would feel if the wedding was cancelled. She thought about the cultural significance of the wedding, and how it would be a celebration of their heritage. As she sat there, fuming, she heard the sound of raised voices coming from outside the office. It seemed like Rachel and Mr. Thompson were having a heated discussion. Akua's curiosity was piqued. What were they talking about? And what would happen next? Suddenly, the door burst open and Rachel stormed back in, her face red with anger. "Akua, I'm so sorry about this," she said. "Mr. Thompson is being completely unreasonable. He's refusing to host the wedding unless you agree to tone down the African elements. Akua stood up, her eyes flashing with determination. I'm not going to back down, she said. I'm going to fight for my wedding. Just then Mr. Thompson walked back in, a smug expression on his face. I'm afraid it's not just about toning down the African elements, he said. I'm willing to refund your deposit, but I'm canceling the wedding. Akua's heart sank. She felt like she had been punched in the gut. But then, something unexpected happened. The door burst open and a group of staff members walked in, led by the events coordinator, a tall, imposing figure with a stern expression. Mr. Thompson, we need to talk to you about this, she said. We, the staff, have been discussing this wedding and we've come to a realization. We don't care about the noise level or the unusual customs. What we care about is that Akua and Kofi have a wonderful wedding, just like any other couple. And we're willing to go the extra mile to make sure that happens. Mr. Thompson's face turned red with anger. What are you talking about? He spluttered. You're just a bunch of employees. You don't have a say in this. The events coordinator stood her ground. Actually, Mr. Thompson, we do. And we're willing to stand up for what we believe in. Akua, we'd be honored to host your wedding here at the Grand Ballroom. We'll make sure that every detail is perfect, from the traditional African drumming to the cultural attire. Akua's eyes welled up with tears. She felt like she had found allies in the most unexpected place. But just as things were looking up, Mr. Thompson dropped a bombshell. Fine, you want to host the wedding? Then do it without me. I'll make sure that no other venue in Los Angeles will touch you with a 10-foot pole. And with that, he stormed out of the office, leaving Akua and the staff staring at each other in shock. What would happen next? Would Akua and Kofi find a new venue? Would the staff stand up to Mr. Thompson and fight for the wedding? The drama was far from over, and Akua's wedding day was still 3 months away. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more powerful stories that uplift Black voices and expose hidden truths. The staff members looked at each other nervously, but the events coordinator stood tall. Don't worry, Akua, we'll make sure your wedding is perfect. We'll work together to make it happen. Akua smiled, feeling a sense of relief wash over her. Thank you so much, she said. I really appreciate it. Rachel, the wedding planner, nodded in agreement. We'll make it work, Akua. We'll find a way to make your wedding day unforgettable. But just as they were about to start making plans, the phone rang. The events coordinator answered it, and her expression turned serious. What's wrong? Akua asked, noticing the look on her face. The events coordinator hesitated before speaking. It's the catering team. They're refusing to provide food for the wedding. Akua's eyes widened in shock. What? Why? The events coordinator sighed. They say they're not comfortable catering for a wedding with African food and traditions. Akua felt a knot in her stomach. This was getting out of hand. But she was determined not to give up. Okay, let's find a new catering team, she said. There are plenty of other options out there. The staff members nodded in agreement and started making calls. After hours of searching, they finally found a catering team that was willing to provide traditional African cuisine for the wedding. Akua was relieved, but she knew that this was just the beginning. There were still many more challenges to come. As the days went by, Akua and the staff worked tirelessly to make sure every detail was perfect. They decorated the venue with vibrant African prints and designed a stunning wedding cake that reflected Akua's cultural heritage. But despite their efforts, Akua couldn't shake off the feeling that something was off. Mr. Thompson's threat still lingered in her mind, and she knew that he was capable of sabotaging her wedding. On the day before the wedding, Akua received a call from an unknown number. Akua, you're making a big mistake, a voice said. You shouldn't have gone ahead with this wedding. Mr. Thompson is not a man to be trifled with. Akua's heart skipped a beat. Who was this person and what did they want? She tried to stay calm, but her mind was racing. Who is this? She asked, trying to keep her voice steady. But the line went dead. Akua was left staring at her phone, feeling a sense of unease. What did this person want, and what did Mr. Thompson have to do with it? She knew that she had to be careful, but she couldn't let fear take over. She had to focus on her wedding day and make sure that everything went smoothly. As she lay in bed that night, Akua couldn't shake off the feeling that something was going to go terribly wrong. She thought about Kofi and how much she loved him. She thought about their families and friends who were coming from all over to celebrate their union. And she thought about the cultural significance of their wedding day. Just as she was drifting off to sleep, her phone buzzed. She looked at the screen and saw a text message from an unknown number. "Look outside." Akua's heart skipped a beat. What was going on? She got out of bed and walked to the window. And what she saw made her blood run cold. The grand ballroom was on fire. The flames were engulfing the building and the staff were running around trying to put out the fire. Akua's eyes widened in horror. Was this Mr. Thompson's doing? And what would happen to her wedding now? The fate of her special day hung in the balance, and Akua's heart was racing with uncertainty. Akua's eyes were fixed on the inferno that was once the grand ballroom. She couldn't believe what she was seeing. The venue, the staff, everything was going up in flames. She felt like her world was crumbling around her. She quickly grabbed her phone and dialed the fire department, trying to stay calm as she gave them the address. As she waited for the firefighters to arrive, Akua's mind was racing. Who could have done this? Was it Mr. Thompson trying to sabotage her wedding? And what would happen to her special day now? The firefighters arrived quickly, and they worked tirelessly to put out the fire. But it was too late. The grand ballroom was destroyed, and Akua's wedding venue was gone. Akua felt like she was in shock. She couldn't believe that this was happening to her. She thought about all the planning, all the hard work, and all the dreams she had for her wedding day. It seemed like it was all being taken away from her. As the firefighters were putting out the last of the flames, Akua saw a figure standing in the shadows, watching her. It was Mr. Thompson. Akua's eyes narrowed. She knew that he was behind this. "You're going to pay for this, Mr. Thompson," she said, her voice shaking with anger. Mr. Thompson smirked. "I'm just protecting my business," he said. "You and your African wedding were going to ruin my reputation." Akua's eyes flashed with anger. "You're unbelievable," she said. "This is about more than just your business. This is about hate and intolerance." The police arrived and Mr. Thompson was taken away for questioning. Akua was left standing amidst the ruins of the grand ballroom, wondering what to do next. But then something unexpected happened. The events coordinator, who had been working tirelessly to make sure Akua's wedding was perfect, stepped forward. "Akua, don't worry," she said. "We'll find a way to make your wedding happen. We'll work together to find a new venue, and we'll make sure that every detail is perfect." Akua smiled, feeling a sense of gratitude towards the staff. "Thank you," she said. "I don't know what I would do without you." The staff rallied around Akua, and together they started making plans for a new venue. They worked tirelessly, and within hours they had found a beautiful outdoor space that would be perfect for the wedding. Akua was relieved, and she knew that her wedding day would still be special. But just as things were looking up, Akua received a call from Kofi. "Akua, I've been trying to reach you," he said, his voice panicked. "I've been in a car accident. I'm in the hospital." Akua's heart sank. "Oh no, Kofi. Is it serious?" There was a pause on the other end of the line. "I don't know," Kofi said. "The doctors are still examining me. But Akua, I have to tell you something. I think someone tampered with my car. I think this was intentional." Akua's eyes widened in horror. Who was behind this? Was it Mr. Thompson trying to sabotage their wedding once and for all? Akua's heart was racing as she rushed to the hospital to be by Kofi's side. What would she find out? Would Kofi be okay? And would their wedding day still happen? Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more powerful stories that uplift Black voices and expose hidden truths. Akua rushed to the hospital, her heart racing with worry. When she arrived, she was relieved to see Kofi lying in bed, looking a bit shaken but otherwise okay. "Kofi, I was so scared," Akua said, holding his hand tightly. Kofi smiled weakly. "I'm okay, Akua. Just a few bruises. But I think someone really did tamper with my car. The police are investigating." Akua's eyes narrowed. She knew that Mr. Thompson was capable of this kind of sabotage. "We'll get to the bottom of this," she said. "I promise." The doctors kept Kofi in the hospital for observation, but Akua knew that their wedding day was just around the corner. She had to make sure that everything was perfect despite the obstacles they had faced. With the help of the events coordinator and the staff, Akua worked tirelessly to make sure every detail was in place. They decorated the new outdoor venue with vibrant African prints and designed a stunning wedding cake that reflected Akua's cultural heritage. As the big day approached, Akua couldn't help but feel a sense of excitement and nervousness. Would everything go smoothly? Would Kofi be okay? And would they finally be able to celebrate their love and commitment to each other? On the morning of the wedding, Akua woke up feeling like a princess. She put on her stunning traditional African wedding attire and got ready for the big day. As she looked in the mirror, she felt a sense of pride and beauty. She was ready to marry the love of her life. But just as she was about to leave for the venue, Akua received a mysterious package. Inside, she found a note that read, "You'll never make it to the altar." Akua's heart sank. Who was behind this? Was it Mr. Thompson trying one last time to sabotage their wedding? Akua's hands were shaking as she showed the note to the events coordinator. "What do we do?" Akua asked, feeling a sense of panic. The events coordinator's face was set with determination. "We don't let them win," she said. "We get you to the altar and we make sure your wedding day is perfect." Akua took a deep breath and nodded. She was ready to face whatever challenges came her way. As she arrived at the venue, Akua could see Kofi standing at the altar, looking handsome in his traditional African attire. She smiled, feeling a sense of joy and love. But just as she was about to walk down the aisle, she saw Mr. Thompson standing in the back, a smug look on his face. Akua's heart skipped a beat. What was he going to do? And would she finally be able to marry the love of her life? Akua's heart was racing as she walked down the aisle, her eyes fixed on Kofi. She could feel Mr. Thompson's eyes on her, but she refused to let him ruin her special day. As she reached the altar, Kofi took her hand and the ceremony began. The traditional African drums beat out a lively rhythm, and the air was filled with the sweet scent of incense. Akua and Kofi exchanged vows, promising to love and cherish each other for the rest of their lives. As they sealed their union with a kiss, the crowd erupted in cheers and applause. Akua and Kofi were finally married. But just as the celebration was getting underway, Mr. Thompson stormed forward, a look of anger on his face. "You think you've won?" he sneered. "But you'll never be accepted." Akua stood tall, her eyes flashing with defiance. "We've already won," she said. "We've found love and acceptance in each other's arms. And nothing you can do will ever take that away from us." The crowd cheered and Mr. Thompson's face turned red with rage. But Akua and Kofi just smiled, knowing that they had each other. As the celebration continued, Akua and Kofi danced under the stars, surrounded by their friends and family. They knew that their love would conquer all, no matter what challenges lay ahead. And as they looked into each other's eyes, they knew that their bond would last a lifetime. True love can overcome any obstacle, and acceptance and understanding can conquer hate and intolerance. Akua and Kofi's story shows that with determination, courage, and the support of loved ones, we can overcome even the most daunting challenges and find happiness and fulfillment. The end. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more powerful stories that uplift Black voices and expose hidden truths.